So, okay, Liz, you're going to talk about Jamil.
I'm quite worried about him. He's breached his yacht order. So he was over on that side of town.
Actually, Liz, sorry to interrupt. Let's do the thinking together format.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's just start with what do you want? What do you want out of this? What's the kind of question that you want out of this?
I suppose actually it's about it's about safety plan actually. I'm quite worried about him, about keeping him safe over this next week or so.
Okay, so
how we support him here at the hostel and keep him safe.
Okay, so in marking the task is that we want to keep him safe over the next week, and you need some help to think about that. Yeah. So you're going to give us the bones of the situation? Yeah. So
he's on this youth offending order. Basically, he's breached it. So he was over on that side of town that he's not supposed to be. And I sometimes I wonder whether that's like because that's where his dad used to live.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know. And so he got caught there and shoplifting, and so he's going back to court. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting into the whole story a bit, but so basically he's due back in court in a week, and it's looking actually like it might go to custodial.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty lucky not to get custodial last time.
So
because you remember that
he's breached his order. He's doing some shoplifting.
Yes.
He's back in court, and there's a real risk that he's going to be back in custody.
Yeah, and he knows that. So I suppose this is the thing, that he knows that, and he's really, really cut up about it.
Yeah. So you said safety plan.
Mm-hmm.
What are the risks then?
Well, basically he says he's going to kill himself, but, because he doesn't want to go to prison.
Right.
And we'd rather die. That's what he said to me in our key working session yesterday.
Okay. And has he been explicit about that? Has he sort of said what he would do?
Well, he talked about going down to the railway lines. So this is in our key working session yesterday, and I was just,
Do we need any more detail, or was that?
Well, I suppose the only other thing that is maybe helpful for you guys to know is that I think he's using a lot of weed and MDMA at the moment, and I'm worried about how that's increasing his risk over this week, because I don't know if anyone else has noticed.
Yeah, we noticed he came in the other night, and he definitely been smoking weed, but he looked like he'd been taking some pretty powerful stimulants as well too. And he was quite distressed actually, and unsettled.
Okay, so there's a lot of risk for him just at the moment. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk out loud. We're going to kind of reflect on what it's like for Liz just at the moment, what we think Liz's predicament is, and how we understand that, and then maybe we'll move on to thinking about Jamal as well. But let's just start with
That's horrible actually, because Liz worked with him for a while now. I've seen Liz. She doesn't normally get too fazed by stuff, and there's something happening that none of us have any power over, which is what's the judge going to say, and Jamil can't possibly know what the outcome is, so he's uncertain too. So it's a horrible situation.
Yeah.
Very frightening.
I think as well, as far as I know, that's the first time he's said something at that level, and I'm just thinking for Liz to hear that must, I don't know,
he's done some self-harm before, but
he has, but I think to be that, and
jumping
what's
in
happened
in
terms of possibly going back. I think it, just in terms of for Liz having to hear that when she's been working so closely with him, that must be really hard to hear and be quite anxiety provoking.
Actually I did a bit of training on suicide and risk and things like that recently, and one of the things I was learning about was you have to ask about, asking doesn't make it worse. The other thing that I learned was that you kind of think about how serious and reversible or non-reversible the the harm is, and jumping in front of a train is pretty irreversible. So if it's very violent and irreversible, you should be more worried. So, I mean, whereas I don't want to make Liz more worried, but I think she's right to be worried,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
I suppose I was thinking also about how hard it is then to notice anything that might be protective or helpful. I don't think any of the things we were hearing about Jamil at the moment. There's not much. I don't know if he's got any friendships. Or I don't know if there's any, because at the moment everything is become focused on this, which seems to be a definite step up. I don't think it's just there's a step up of risk. It's certainly serious. But then all the other stuff falls away. We don't hit that. I'd be interested to know, what is there more?
Any
So important for us to help Liz think maybe in a minute about where the strengths, where the things that Jamil can hold on to might be, and just find out where they are.
Yeah.
Let's just think, mentalise Jamil now. Think about his mind. What's his mind like?
Well, for a start, from what I'm hearing, his mind's not present a lot because he's intoxicated.
Yeah.
So, in one sense, he's running away from kind of reality. And I suspect what he's running away from is he has repeatedly said that he never wanted to go back inside. He had a very bad time the last time. So, it's not a nice place to be Jamil at the moment. And
I think it's sort of. I would imagine it's just shame and it's some sort of horrible sense that this is now a sort of public mess up. It's there are other things. His life was, but this is this is unescapable, and there's something, and there's just a shame, kind of real sense of shame for him. I don't know the guy, but if I was imagining his position, he's now faced with something that he absolutely was clear he didn't want to happen.
Which is possibly why you've seen an increase in his substance use, because it's too painful to be in the present or think about the future, so it's easy just to.
I mean, he's difficult because he does push lots of the boundaries here at the hostel. He really does push lots of the boundaries, and he does make it difficult. But you do also get so he's really sad too. And when we've offered help to him before, that sometimes he's been able to use it, but often he's chosen not to as well, which has been it's been quite hard for us too here, I think. He's pushed that too.
So Liz, you've sat, you've listened to us and to hearing what's on our mind about you and about Jamal. I just wonder if anything there sort of struck you or got your thinking going.
Yeah, I suppose one of the things I think was helpful is it's clarified it for me a little bit, that I was a bit worried that maybe maybe this is just something that people say and I was getting over anxious about it, but it's actually quite helpful to hear people say, actually no, this is quite high risk. So that's a bit clearer for me. It's also quite nice to hear it's all right for me to be a bit worried about it.
So the original question was about, your original question was about, well, what's the safety plan?
Yeah.
Are there things that come to mind now about that?
I suppose it's interesting when you're thinking about what resources does he have, what else is going on, and I suppose one of the things is that there isn't much. I mean, he has some contact with his nan, but whether we could just, pull nan into, being a bit more in contact. But also that he did tell me, and he did come to his key worker session. Actually, that's quite unusual for him to turn up.
But in ways, it's unusual, and that might be something we need to take very seriously.
Yes.
And I suppose one of the questions in my mind is whether actually we're saying this guy might really need some form of psychiatric assessment, because he's not a help seeker. That's my understanding, and has been conversation that we've had here before, and
So would a plan be if we make a referral to the sort of CAMs on call, but also I'm thinking what we could do here is if I increase my key worker sessions, and maybe if we had, because I'm not here every day this week, I don't know if there's, who does he know?
Let him know about, does he know about the duty system? Does he know that he can call and there's always somebody here available if you're not?
He
does, but
you, so who would he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else does he know you a little
He
bit?
does a bit. I mean, he sometimes
Yeah.
talks to me in the evening times, of particularly. I mean, not so much this last week, but before he has. So I
So
mean,
you here on Wednesday morning?
yeah, I
So
will be
that's
actually. So we could actually just do a bit more about the fact that and you and I are working a bit opposite this week. So again,
Yeah.
I mean, if you
If
think
we-
he'd find that helpful, I can definitely
Yeah.
sort of perhaps check in with him and let you know as well.
So I'll talk to him, but today, and refer him to the duty team. But if I also sort of set out a bit of a plan with him
Yeah.
for this week, that he'll have a session with me each day, but maybe on that Wednesday morning. And,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it depends how you frame it a bit, but I wonder if you just refer to the fact that, by name you spoke to Suzanne, you spoke to me, because I don't know him well, but he knows that you and I have spoken about him, and you talked about my name before. So you could mention us by name and said that, the two of us and the other people are aware that he's having a bad time, and
Yeah.
into any great detail, so that he just knows that people have got him. Would that be
Yeah.
helpful?
No, that's
We,
really helpful.
we need to kind of draw it to a close, but is that
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I feel quite clear about
Helpful.
that. Yeah, no, that's really useful.